Hello, hello. Good morning. How are you all? I hope you are having a great morning so far. I am in Columbus, Ohio today with my family in the sunroom, where it is a beautiful day in Ohio. So I'm very happy to be here with you all. If you are here or you are watching the replay back, let us know, yeah, where you're calling from and kind of where you are in your practice. Would love to hear from you and answer any questions you might have. So we will go ahead and get started today. So today we are going to be talking about the fastest way to achieve a full practice without taking insurance, which is such a fun topic and one that I really needed when I was starting out in private practice. So, first of all, welcome. If you're new to me in my world, I'm Emma and I'm a business strategist for therapists. And I really believe in helping impact driven, ambitious, adventure loving therapists build and grow practices that really support their lifestyle, their self care, their desire to help others, and also allow them to earn a great income and travel the world and work with dream clients. I have had a fully remote private pay practice it's been a private practice for about 10 years now. And I've been fully remote since 2020. I travel the world. I charge $250 a session. Having this life of freedom is so possible. It's so worth it. It is one of the best gigs out there, I always say. I think being a private practice therapist fills all the boxes. Like it is fulfilling, it allows you flexibility, you get to be creative, you connect with people every day. So if you are looking for help on growing your private pay practice, I would love to chat with you. Book a call with me. I'll put the link to do that in the comments of this video. Okay, so let's get into it. So, the fastest way to achieve a full practice without taking insurance. So, if you are anything like most therapists, you've been told that growing a private pay practice, it just takes time, right? And this may make it kind of feel like there's not a ton you can actually do, and it's sort of a waiting game. And so I want to kind of comment on this to begin with, because there is some truth that to build anything wonderful and sustainable and like it does take time. And some practices, for a variety of reasons, niche, location, a lot of things may fill up faster than other practices. So I want you to watch this and also know that it's not like if you are not full yet or something, you're necessarily doing something wrong, or that you can't, that every practice can get full at the drop of the hat. But I want to kind of break the myth that growing a full private pay practice has to take a long time, because it also doesn't necessarily have to take a long time. So for me, when I was first starting out, I was told that, of course, like growing a practice takes a long time. And so I decided to do what most therapists do, what many people do, and I decided to sign up for insurance. So I had no idea how to market, so I allowed companies like Aetna, United, and Medicaid to market my practice for me. And this was great in a lot of ways because I was on, and now of course there's like Alma and Headway, and these companies can help therapists fill up quickly, but there's also sometimes I know a lot of issues with people not being paid what they would like to be paid, as well as sometimes I've even heard of like some ethical considerations that don't feel right with these companies. So, it's a tough call for a lot of clinicians in the beginning about whether or not we're going to take insurance. So, what I did when I first started out was I got on all of these panels. And in many ways, it was great. I got a ton of calls to start, when I was on all these different insurances. And at first I was happy because, of course, this filled up my practice. But then I realized, I was making $60 a session. At best, I was maybe making $100 a session. I had a ton of clients I absolutely loved working with, which was awesome. But then I had clients that made me uncomfortable or I got kind of an icky vibe from. And I felt like, and of course that's not anything to do with these people having insurance, and part of it had to do with me not knowing, how to weed people out in the beginning of taking my practice. But I hadn't done the tough work of really understanding who my ideal client was, how to talk to them, how to market to them, that you actually have to do when you market a private pay practice. And this helps you get clients you love working with, know yourself better, as well as have a practice that's really fulfilling to you as well. So I think having a private pay practice, it's really not just about the money. It's really about helping you grow as a clinician, helping you have a caseload that really fills you up. So, I also in these times I spent a ton of time on the phone trying to get things covered. I was frustrated with insurance, and I'm wondering if any of you who are watching this can relate to this. If you have been frustrated with insurance as well. Um, so what I did was I started the process eventually of trying to market to more private pay clients. So I did a number of things. One thing I did was I started passing out my business card everywhere, or I made a website and a Psych Today profile. I tried to start to niche down, although this was tricky and I didn't quite know how to do it. I gave some talks in the community. I started networking. And I waited and I worked another job, and it took me a long time to get full, even with insurance panels. So I believe it took me something like a year and a half with insurance to feel secure in my practice. And I just decided that this was kind of a normal thing, that it's just gonna, that was just normal. But really, I want to tell you guys today that the truth is, it really did not have to be my normal. And it is possible for you to have a full private pay practice in months and to be charging a rate that really does support you. Um, what was I doing wrong? So, first of all, and I'm going to go into more depth about this, none of my efforts were really strategic or concentrated. I was kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, which is, I think, the approach many of us end up doing because we're trying to throw together a bunch of stuff we learn from trainings or guides we see online. And that's what I was doing. So none of my efforts were really focused or concentrated. And I was doing things kind of without thinking in terms of how my ideal client was thinking, who they were, how they were searching for therapy, where they were searching for therapy. Like, I didn't quite understand these things yet. Instead, I was just like taking the advice of all the private practice gurus who really didn't know me, my ideal client, or my private practice, which is why it's really important when and if you are seeking out like coaching to work with someone who also is aware of your specific situation and really focuses in on it with you, is in there with you, in the trenches with you, your niche, who you are as a person, what you like to do, what you're willing to do, because marketing your private practice also needs to fit around your lifestyle. So I'm wondering so far if anyone can kind of relate to this experience, if you also kind of have struggled with marketing or kind of not knowing where to go, or taking insurance and just feeling like totally overwhelmed. Let me know if you have. So I was okay with kind of waiting it out, but if I had known then what I know now, I really could have been full with private pay clients in so much less time. Because the truth is it's entirely possible to get full with clients quickly. And it's also not all just dependent on location or niche. So I'll give you a kind of an example of my client, Kayla. So, Kayla is a brand new therapist who is unlicensed. And when we first met, she was starting her practice. In fact, when we first started working together, she had no website, no Psych Today. She didn't really know what population she wanted to work with yet, as most of us don't when we're kind of coming into private practice. But she was determined and hardworking and willing to set up the foundations and really just fly with this. So after 3 months of working together, she now has, I believe she has around 6 or 7 private pay dream clients who find her website and tell her the messaging spoke to them so much they don't want to work with anyone else. She also has this killer website that is ranking on the first page of Google, as well as her Google business profile is also ranking up high on the first page of Google. She also gets around 4 new client calls a week. So this person who didn't even know 3 months ago what population she wanted to work with is now well on her way to filling up her schedule. And she has all the tools she needs in order to do that moving forward. The thing is, most of us were not taught those tools in grad school. I certainly was not. So let's talk a little bit now about how we did it, because we've kind of laid out so far, like some of the challenges, some of the myths about, what we're told about insurance, about, what it takes to get full, all of those different things. And I'm empathizing with those of you who are sitting here like, I've decided to take insurance, or I have just been kind of waiting around, because that was me for a long time. So in order to get to the fastest way to fill your private pay practice is to focus on a few things. And I'm not going to kind of go into every one of them here because I've gone over them in other trainings, and we only have time for a part of it today. So the first thing that we're not really going to focus on as much here is we really had to speak to the clients on her website with superpower messaging. I talk about this a lot in some other trainings. So we focused on speaking to her ideal client in the language they would understand. We focused on like understanding their pains, understanding their desires. And this is a big sort of process of doing research and really thinking critically through the client's eyes. Another thing we did was we established her as this obvious and incomparable choice for her clients. And this one is something that I don't think a lot of coaches really talk about as much. What we did was we pulled out her unique superpowers as a therapist, and this really allowed her to shine with those superpowers on her website and in the content she was creating. She has all these amazing qualities about her as a therapist that she was able to really convey on her website. She really did convey her warmth, some of her connection with her spirituality, her experience as a first responder, that got her clients to feel connected to her and to trust her before they even landed on her page. So I also have a training about that, how to become the obvious and incomparable choice for your clients. So let me know if you'd like that training as well. The thing I'm going to focus on most in this training is how we got Kayla to be findable. And a lot of coaches talk about being findable, right? But what I do with clients, when I work with clients, we focus on what I call Kismet findability. So this is, different than just SEO. It's different than just, there's not one part, one factor that goes into Kismet findability. And Kismet findability looks different depending on you, what your niche is, you as an individual. And that's something my clients and I work on together. So I'm going to talk a little bit about with her what this looks like. I've said before, you may have heard me say this, that all our messaging, all our positioning, all the ways we make ourselves known as this superpower therapist and expert, it all falls flat if we're not found by our ideal clients or by our referral sources, or if we're showing up on like the 8th page of Google. So findability, it's important. It's really an important factor of this, but we also want to make you findable in a way that's strategic. We don't want to have you being visible to everyone everywhere. Like, because that's going to burn you out. I was never someone who wanted to be dancing on Instagram doing reels to market my therapy practice. And so a lot of my clients are that way too. Like, that's not something they really value. So the first part of kind of what we did was we focused on what I call my Google to session strategy, where we did focus on using keywords, getting her SEO into a place where she was starting to kind of climb up on Google. And we do this from the beginning, like while we're even talking about the website text and how, as we're sort of building the website using a template that I give all my clients. So we worked on that together, and I'm hands-on with you doing all these things, as well as I have a tech professional help with a lot of pieces of this after you know how to do it and you're empowered to do it, which is, I think, a really important part of this, because oftentimes when we hire out for things like SEO, like we either are purchasing shady backlinks and maybe Google is going to punish us for that, or these professionals don't understand mental health or our niche, and our websites just feel sort of like chocked full of like a bunch of keywords, and it doesn't sound relatable or warm, and then it just doesn't work. So I really empower clients to know how to do this, but also give some assistance on this. Another thing, so we did that, and we worked on getting her website ranked, as well as getting her Google business profile ranked and getting that really, really good for her. Another thing we worked on was strategic networking with people who were going to be referral sources for her. So Kayla found the people who were going to, she wasn't networking with everyone. She wasn't throwing spaghetti at the wall. She found the people who were going to actually be referral sources for her in her niche. And she also actually found some amazing like in-person events to go to that were very specific to her niche and targeted to her niche of first responders. And this was incredibly helpful for her. And it was a really intentional decision. It wasn't just going to a networking marketing event with a bunch of therapists who maybe are trying to fill their practices. It was a really well thought out decision that she had. We also worked on her stay sane social media strategy to help her post content to places in a way where she barely had to be on social media, but her blogs were getting seen by people who would refer to her. Her content was getting seen by people in her network. And this was really great for her and something she actually kind of got excited about and got into. Really what we're doing with Kismet Findability is we are looking at your specific client, how they're searching for therapy, and we are really making you findable to them in the way they're searching for therapy, and also in a way that you like and that lights you up and that is fun for you. Because if it's not fun for you and enjoyable for you, you are going to resent your practice. So for me, for instance, I was always kind of an introvert, and I wanted to do things like blog. I wanted to not be on social media all the time. And that really worked for me, and it did work to fill my practice. So a lot of my clients feel that way as well, and we work on that. And some clients are a little more like they enjoy being more visible, and sometimes that's casting a wider net, and it's not targeting their niche specifically as much. So we kind of balance that out. So, okay. So when you have all these things kind of really dialed in, you have this superpower messaging, you are established as this obvious and incomparable choice for your clients, you have worked on your findability in this way, um, you have clients really lining up to work with you, clients who are excited to work with you. And this Kismet findability is one of the pillars of my liberated practice formula so that you can be found by your ideal clients while you are sleeping. You will get calls without needing to burn yourself out or be visible everywhere. When your website has this amazing messaging, which kind of goes into some of my other things I do with people, um, your website becomes this not only this amazing client converting tool, but also something that really draws your clients in without you really needing to do much marketing. So to have a very simplified marketing strategy. Another thing we focus on in my program is on establishing success, where we really establish you as this specialized expert provider through things like your brand, your website, your messaging, your business foundations, because we don't want you to, you're not just going to fall into success. We have to do things to help you establish it and to set up those foundations so that people do find you and they're very impressed and excited to work with you. And the last thing we really focus on is embodied support, which is all about showing up for your current clients, for yourself, but also your future clients, like giving them value and hope when they find you and when they find your content. So we really want to be focusing on like giving support, not just to our clients and future clients and to ourselves. Like those things are so important to help us feel filled up as a clinician and also to help future clients know, like, and trust us, and to help our current clients want to refer to us. So if you are interested in learning more about how to get full without taking insurance and getting full quickly without taking insurance, book a call with me. It's totally free, no pressure. I will post the link in the comments. And thank you for being here. Have a good one.